So now you're live.
Hello, everyone. This is Matt Thompson, and I just wanted to thank all my friends and everyone who has been concerned about me, and let you know that I'm alive and out and doing fine with my lovely wife Janet, and would like to tell the story of my last two weekends. First of all, a couple of weekends ago, or the weekend before this last one. My family went out to Colorado thanks to some gracious gifts from some good friends of ours, and went skiing. And when we started back home, one of the cars that we went in broke down, and so we went and we had to buy a trailer to pull it, and we crossed this mountain pass in the middle of the snow and ice, pulling the trailer, and managed to do that just fine, and got somewhere in the middle of Kansas, and like an idiot, I had a bit of a brain lock and forgot that I was going to use more gas than normal pulling this trailer. And there's not a whole lot of stuff in the middle of Kansas, and there's no phone service either. So we ran out of gas in the freezing cold night there in the middle of Kansas, and we called somebody to come get us, and they took like an hour, and they brought us 2 gallons of gas was all they could bring, which wasn't enough to really get us out of trouble. And then about that time, a state trooper from Kansas Highway Patrol showed up, and was the nicest man you'd ever want to meet. Brought us some more gas, got us going on our way, wished us good luck. And it just reminded me that there is still, like I think of when we were kids, the old protect and serve mentality of police is still out there. Unfortunately, I think it's diminishing. And we're getting more of this, strange kind of policing. But I'm going to tell the story of Jeff Weinhaus. As most of you know, I've become good friends with Jeff, visiting him many times this last year. I believe that Jeff is an innocent man. He's serving 30 years in prison for a crime in which he was the victim, not the perpetrator. And, it's a ridiculous situation. It's very important, I believe, for all of us, because it goes to our founding policy that, we have to have freedom of the press and freedom to criticize our government. And I believe this is why they went after Jeff. But in any case, I've been visiting Jeff, and I feel like I'm probably the one that's been visiting him a little bit more than all the others, because I've been able to this last year and become very close friends with him. And I felt like, if he was in trouble, he would rely on me to come and try to help him. And 2 weeks ago, when I went for my normal visit to see Jeff, I was told he was in the hole. He was being investigated and could no longer have any visitation rights, even behind glass. And so I left, and this went on for a couple of weeks, and I tried to give it time for this thing to get resolved, and nothing seemed to be happening. And I was extremely concerned that Jeff was not able to communicate with anybody, including apparently his lawyer, who had told me that he had not spoken to Jeff. So I went back Friday morning to the prison. I am on the approved visitors list, and I went there. I suspected that I wouldn't be allowed to see Jeff, but I wanted to get some answers, because I felt like 2 weeks is too long to not allow a prisoner any communication with a lawyer or anything. And so I went there, and they said, no, I couldn't see Jeff. So I told the lady at the reception that I would like to see the warden then, because I was very concerned. And she said, okay. So I waited calmly. I didn't make a big scene. I just waited over in the corner of the waiting room. And, after about 30 minutes, 2 guards came out and said that the warden didn't have time to speak with me, that there was nothing that I could learn. I didn't have a right to know anything, and that I should leave. And I said that I really need to speak to the warden about this, because I realized that these 2 guys couldn't make any decisions. And I felt like I needed to talk to the warden to make sure that he understood that people were concerned. And to me, something seems wrong here. You can't have a guy that's not allowed to communicate even with his lawyer. What's going on? Why can't you state a reason? So eventually the warden himself came out and asked me to step kind of in the foyer. So at this prison, first of all, you're not even allowed at this prison to take a picture. A lot of people like to go there and if they have an inmate in there, take a picture of the front gate or the front flagpole, you know, saying this is where my loved one is. And they don't let you do that. You're not allowed to take any pictures. You can't carry your phone or any devices into the lobby. So I was in the lobby. I didn't have any devices, any phones, any recording, anything like that, because that's their rule. And so when the warden got there, he asked me to step out into the breezeway, which I did. And he had another assistant with him. And I asked him to tell me what was going on with Jeff. And he said, I have no right to know that. And I said that I was concerned that it might be illegal to hold somebody without the ability to contact even their lawyer. And he said that, you know, I'm not a lawyer. How would I know? I've got no business being there and I need to leave. And I said, well, I need to find out about Jeff. And he said, you need to leave or I'm going to call the local police. And so I left and I walked out to the parking lot. And, you know, I took maybe, I don't know, 30 seconds or so to check my phone and stuff, as I usually do when I turn my phones and everything back on when I got to the car. And I started driving out. And as I got almost out of the prison in the driveway, the police pulled me over and stopped me. And they said, you need to leave. And I said, I'm leaving, look. And they said, well, you're not leaving fast enough. And I said, well, okay, let me go and I'll leave faster. But they ran my license and everything. And finally he let me leave. And so I left and I drove into the town of Bonterre. And I went to a Hardee's restaurant there to kind of gather my thoughts and figure out what I wanted to do. And while I was at the Hardee's there, I made 2 phone calls. First of all, I called the governor's office, the governor of Missouri, and I let them know at the office there that I was very concerned. I didn't make any threatening comments. I made no threatening comments to anybody anywhere other than, you know, I told the warden that I thought it wasn't right what he was doing, but I didn't threaten any action other than I might have mentioned that I was going to notify the governor. But I made no threats. And so I did call the governor's office, and, you know, that conversation lasted about 30 seconds. They said the governor's in D.C. at the moment, but we will let him know about the situation when he gets back. I said, okay. And then I called a lady named Valerie Weinhaus, asked me to call her, Jeff's second wife. So I called Valerie and, you know, spoke to her for maybe, I don't know, 20 minutes, 25 minutes. And she was telling, you know, the whole history of their relationship and everything. By the time I got done, the cops, I realized that the cops had blocked my car in at the Hardee's restaurant. And they came in there. And I looked up and I could see my car was blocked in, and they were obviously wanting to do something. So, you know, with all the things that have happened in recent years, I was a bit nervous about that. So I raised both my hands and started walking slowly toward him. And I said, I'm not resisting anything. And he said, you need to go back over to the other side of the restaurant. And so I did walk back over to the other side of the restaurant. But I said, you know, as I was doing that, I said, you know what? That's kind of an unlawful order. I'm allowed to be here in Hardee's. So if you're going to arrest me, arrest me. So he did. He came and put his arms behind my back, and then all of a sudden there was 2 other officers. I'm not sure what their badges were that were there, and they started just really crazy intimidation tactics. What's on your phone? What's on your phone? You know, you've been threatening, calling the prison threatening, and you know, give us your phone, give us all your devices. And I said, no. And they said, well, you've been calling. And I said, no, I haven't called the prison at all. I haven't threatened anybody at the prison. And they said, well, give me your phone. So I said, well, you can look and see that I didn't call anybody. And then they said, okay, well, we got the right to take your phone and your iPad. And I said, no. I just said you could look at those calls. And so this, you know, they started all these crazy things, accusing me of all kinds of wild, different things and threatening. And I said, you know, you have to tell me what I'm being arrested for. And they said I was under arrest for threatening the prison and the warden with violence. And so They took me to the jail and booked me in. And it was probably from the time they arrested me, I think it was close to about 2 hours before they finally figured out, what they were going to charge me with. And, to me, to my way of thinking, these are supposed to be law enforcement officers. They're there to enforce the law. So, I mean, if they can't figure out what law I violated until 3 hours afterwards or 2 hours, whatever it was, what are they doing here? This goes back to the rule of men rather than the rule of law. And so anyway, I got put in the cell there. It's a regular cell at the county jail, and I was in there by myself first. It's just a one-person cell, but by the time I got through the evening, there was at times 6 people in there, various people, 5 people in there, and people are curled up with no room to lay flat in there in a one-person cell and through the night, and of course, there's like a toilet in the middle of the thing. Nobody can get any toothpaste or anything like that. You can't even dry your hands. It's a germ-infested place with and so it gave me a good eye-opening experience to what really goes on in those places. And then today I was released on recognizance. They have my phone and my iPad, and I don't know why. And they said that they're being seized and they're trying to get a warrant. And so I think the guy already looked at my phone. He knows that I never called back to prison. He established that when we were at Hardee's. But I don't think they have a right to have my devices, and I think they need to give them back. And were those devices used in committing a crime? What crime? I mean, it's crazy. But I'm charged with a felony. And as far as I know, I wasn't given documents when I left the prison saying I have to appear at a certain date. But I was told that I was charged with 2 offenses. One was trespassing, which I'm an approved visitor at the jail. And when the warden told me to leave, I left. And I was at the Hardee's when they arrested me. So how was I trespassing? And then the other one is a felony charge of harassment. And I don't know anything about that charge or what it means, but obviously they changed from their earlier thing that they said that I was threatening somebody. And, I never threatened anybody. I asked the warden of the jail to give me some answers, and he did. And he told me to leave, and I didn't. And so that's where it sits at the moment. I wish they would give me my devices back. Those devices were not used to commit any crime. As far as I'm concerned, I committed no crime. I believe it's important that we reestablish that people have the right to criticize their government. And, if I thought that doing something wrong, couldn't I tell the warden that? And I did. And so there it is. And so that's how it sits at the moment. I'm charged with a felony, and I don't have my devices. But I'm out of jail. I'm fine.
And you did get your Suburban back
I'm
out.
back with my lovely wife, and I even got my car back. So thank you for all your concern, and we'll see what happens from here. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
You touch it, I can't get it. And